Tim?
Yes.
What's your next topic?
Next topic, TV in 2015.
Here we go.
There's a whole bunch of shit. I don't know like if we even watched most of these. This is a list of the things of the most trending TV shows.
Okay.
So there was...
Lay them on me.
Real quick, just going through that I'm not sure that you guys watched. The Jinx?
No idea what that is.
Okay. It was a HBO thing.
Okay.
The Left.
Oh wait, no, I did see the Jinx. And it was awesome. It was about it was the guy who murdered his wife, right? No.
Yes.
Kevin's shaking his head.
Yeah, it was-
I remember people talking about this. I never watched it.
Yeah, I watched it. Whatever it was about a guy who like murdered someone and then got away with it for all those years. He's like a rich dude, New Yorker or whatever. Bless you. And then like he
Was that a
he ends up like
documentary?
kind of giving he ends up
that
like
was
kind of giving
not his
himself
wife. It was his friend.
his
Didn't he
friend,
kill
yeah.
his friend?
something like that. But
On a
then,
yacht.
like,
And then cut him up and buried all his shit and then was like, it was self-defense. And
but
the
then
guy's
he
like,
gave
why
himself
the fuck
away.
Did you bury?
But then he gave himself away. Like
On
he
the
was,
interview.
he was like still mic'd up in the bathroom and was like admitting to himself.
It was on camera still. He was literally like,
All right, don't
they
ruin it. I
left
wanna
and he
watch
was
it.
like, hey, make sure I got that right. They're like, we're still rolling. And he's like, fucking kill that motherfucker. He deserved it. I'm like, what? I'm paraphrasing. But
Yeah, I did. So I did see
it was cool.
All
Yeah,
right,
that was
all right.
fucked up.
The
How
Leftovers.
many episodes is that?
What?
it just
Was
one
it his
episode?
wife?
No, that didn't make the movie though.
What?
Like that was just.
Oh, I saw the footage somewhere. I
Yeah,
can't remember where.
No, it was like they arrested him before the thing came out.
Then maybe I saw a documentary about it. Because I saw maybe even the making of it. I saw that footage where he like incriminates himself somehow. And I was like, wow.
It was all over CNN.
Maybe that's where I saw it.
Double Jeopardy. Can you get a gun?
I don't think he was ever tried for it, buddy. Great Ashley Judd movie, though. Thank you for that.
I know, right?
She's so hot. She's still hot.
The
Follow her on
Leftovers.
Twitter.
I've heard it's great.
If Steve Zaragoza would just shut up about it, maybe I'd give it a chance.
won't
But all
watch
he
it.
does
I
is fucking
refuse.
talk about it.
Refuse.
Scream Queens. People are really into it
No
now.
thanks.
Yeah, it looks weird.
You know why? It's because the goddamn promos they ran
At Comic-Con.
every 15 seconds on fucking on demand on Xfinity. It was
Oh.
always him, the showrunner talking to Jamie Lee Curtis, and it was the most mundane conversation. I'm like, I'm not watching this.
Did
show.
she talk about Activia?
She was like, if you
She's
need
like, we can
to
talk another
shit,
8 hours because I'm regular.
I just shit. Do you want to see me shit again? There it is. It smells like old prunes and pudding.
The Muppets.
I heard it was pretty bad.
I didn't see it. Actually,
Bad or
I don't
good?
think I
Yeah,
saw
I heard it
it.
was bad, and I heard the ratings
Oh.
were really bad too.
I'm sorry. This is the show.
Yeah,
No, I didn't watch it, unfortunately.
it's great.
I thought
You
there
were
was
the
because there's
problem-
another Muppet movie coming out.
Sure, there it is.
But I can't remember. Or
Jason
there was, at
Segel's
least.
doing it again.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Loved it. See, that's the thing. For me, as a banner to 2015, not being a big TV guy, for me, it was all on-demand stuff that I had taped to DVD, or mainly it was Netflix.
The
stuff.
Netflix. I mean, there is
shit,
Netflix stuff.
Netflix shit pops around like Kimmy Schmidt, and I was like, oh, right, I like her, and here's the entire thing. So while we fold laundry, let's try a show. Oh, my God, this was really good. Let's
Yeah,
do
I
it.
had a crush on that girl when she was on The Office. I like a lot.
Yeah, she was really good.
We'll get to it, but the best thing I think I've seen on TV this year is on Netflix. It just came out.
Just came out.
Master of None?
No,
Is that what it is?
Jessica Jones.
Oh.
You already.
It is.
We'll get to that in a second because there's a whole section for
Fucking
that. But
Shut
awesome.
up.
so
He said we'll get to
Master
it.
of None. Has anyone watched this?
Yes.
I watched one or
Loved
two
it.
episodes of it. Yeah.
So it was so surprising.
Oh, that's
it
the
was
Aziz. The
Yeah.
Aziz
Aziz
Ansari.
Ansari. Because I caught his Instagram post about his parents that got circulated around or
Yeah.
whatever. How his dad, like, you know, how this show helped him reconnect with his parents, and they were never that close. And his dad took a week off of work to come film for the show. And so then when I saw it pop up on Netflix, I was like, all right, and tried it, and it was the same thing of like, damn, that was good. You want to watch another one, Christine? Sure. And then we just went through and just marathoned them all.
The girl in it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much she's in it. Noelle Wells.
Yeah.
Do you know who
She's
I'm
in it a
talking
lot,
about?
yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, she was from SNL, but before SNL, she was like from YouTube, but not like a YouTube star, just like some obscure
great. She
YouTube
was
person
fantastic in the
that me
show.
and Kevin were fucking in love with because she is the funniest human being.
Really? She's
of
great
all
in the show.
time.
Great in the
Yeah,
show.
I knew her from a YouTube series she did with Milana, who's the AT&T commercial girl.
dude,
now.
she's
Oh,
So
yeah,
now they're
okay.
doing things. So
Good
I'm,
for
I'm
them.
proud of them.
Good for them.
But yeah, I need to watch that. Then there was the Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah.
First day of summer, which holy
Awesome.
shit, I love that.
First
Colin,
day
did you
of
watch
yeah.
that?
Not yet. No.
Have you seen the original
you'll-
movie?
Yep.
You'll
you
enjoy
love
it.
You gotta
so
watch
much.
the series. This, Colin, you gotta watch
Okay.
this.
Okay. Are you telling me to watch it?
I'm telling you to
Okay.
watch it.
Just want to make sure I understand what you're saying.
Because it was fucking
Mark
good.
it down,
See
Kevin.
something,
This is
say
number
something.
one.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought the pacing of it was great.
That was
They
fucking
had so
perfect.
much surprises and just
And it was the same thing as Wet Hot American Summer, which is weird for me nowadays, where I watched it again and it got better. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
did
I
you?
usually don't have time to watch anything again or play anything again. And it was like finished it without Christine, and then she wanted to see it, so I watched it again with her. I was like, fuck, it's even funnier. Just
Dude.
like Wet Hot American Summer.
John Hamm in that is
right?
Fucking brilliant.
So good. So fucking
so
good.
good.
But why'd you have to kill him then? You got a lot of questions. None of my
I
answers are
don't
going to
have-
satisfy him,
yeah.
so I got to go. I got this thing to do.
I hear what you're
I
saying.
hear what you're saying.
Keeping with the comedies, there was Inside Amy Schumer, the Comedy Central show,
Right.
which I watched a surprising amount of.
Really?
On YouTube. So
Okay.
I just watched
She's
a bunch
funny,
of the
man.
clips.
She's
but,
really
like,
funny, yeah.
Man, I was never into her, and I was just like, oh, she just makes like the same jokes over and over or whatever. Just because everything I've seen from her is
Just like us.
Yeah.
the same. Yeah. And then I saw this shit. I'm like, fuck, she is so funny. Like her sketches on this show are like grade A shit.
Did
Highly
you ever see the one where she
recommended.
plays the army game or whatever?
No.
Her boyfriend's playing an army video game or whatever, like basically imagine Call of Duty,
Uh-huh.
and he's shooting a whole bunch of people, whatever. And then he leaves the room, and he's like, "You can play." So she jumps in and creates a female character, and she never gets to the battlefield. It's just she gets raped in her room, and then they pull it under the rug and dishonorably discharge her. And her boyfriend comes back in. He goes, "How is it?" She's like, "I didn't even. This guy raped me." And then he's like, "That wouldn't happen." What are you talking? They're like watching along with her, and it's like the
God damn.
the horrible
She's
shit.
super, she's super, yeah, she is like almost like not quite Anthony Jeselnik, but like 70% there.
That's why you got to
Well, I
love
mean,
her.
she's making a social commentary.
Yeah.
She got a lot of shit for that cover, the Rolling Stones cover, where she was sucking C-3PO's finger.
Yeah.
Everyone's like giving her shit, and I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
Go get her,
dude.
man.
I got a lot of
We
shit
love
for
you, Amy
using
Schumer.
that as a thumbnail too.
But you know what
Some
though?
point.
That's the fucking point, man. Like if
Yeah.
you're a comedian and you can't make waves like that, then you're not doing your job right. That's why
Exactly.
you might not agree with Anthony Jeselnik, but he's out there, man, and he's making
swinging.
people
He's out
fucking
there.
think.
Did any of you watch Empire?
Oh,
No.
I heard
I
it's,
did.
it's murdering.
I did, and I liked it.
Well, I mean, I hear that Empire. Yeah, it is the fucking the underdog star of the year. I'm just like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
Everybody's fucking into it.
So now you're gonna talk about Nashville, of course.
No, what's there
Nashville
to
is
say
great.
about Nashville?
Well,
Greg?
Empire, ripped off Nashville, but other than
They
that,
did it right.
No, to be
Did
fair,
it?
Empire
I mean, it's successful.
ripped off King Lear, which is actually a quote from the showrunner. He was like, "I just really like Shakespeare, and I take all of my." He takes all of his story arcs from Shakespeare's
that's cool.
plays. So if you ever read King Lear, it's about a king who's bouncing, like playing his kids off of each other to see who's going to take the throne. And that's basically Empire.
So then the kind of continuing shows that we've known for years. We got Walking Dead, Game of
Great.
Thrones,
Fucking great
Mad
this year.
Men, Orange is the New Black, and House of Cards.
Didn't like the newest House of Cards as much as I wanted to.
Agreed.
I thought it's all right. So the thing about House of Cards is it should have ended by now.
Yeah.
But I think that the next season is going to be the end because now
hope
it's
so.
about his arc, like he's at the top of the arc now. So now it's gonna be about his downfall.
We saw that kind of the
yeah.
final episode.
And so I'm excited about that
Yeah, me
because
too.
like he's gonna get his comeuppance and you're gonna see it all and it's gonna be awful for him. And I'm interested to see how they wrap it into all the fucked up shit he's done.
Or maybe not. Or maybe he gets away with it.
No, he won't get away
I
with
hope
it.
they don't. I hope that they just nail him.
I hope so.
so.
I don't know. I kind of want to see him get away with it, but that's just the psycho in me.
House of Cards is. I mean, even though I agree, it doesn't have the same pop, especially the first season had, which was fucking
First season
awesome.
was the best. Yeah.
But it's an exceptional show.
Yeah.
It's an exceptional
Totally.
show. Mad Men is over.
God.
Mad Men is arguably the best show I've ever seen before.
I'll give you that.
And I think that the way that they wrapped it up was brilliant. The last season was full of.
He's rubbing it like a dick. I know. And
Was-
I love
was-
it.
was
He's
full of
rubbing
incre-
it like a big tip.
I'm not rubbing it like a dick. I'm rubbing it like
balls.
like a nipple,
like a nipple.
like the outside,
Big old silver
like the
dollar
outside of a
nipple.
nipple. But the
It's turning me on a little bit. I want you to know that. I'm watching you rub.
Yeah, I was wondering why it was
Jesus,
hard.
Get it wet. Get it a little bit wet. Just a little.
So the
perspire.
cool thing about the end of Mad Men, I know some people didn't like it, but I was nervous about it. Now, the man who runs the show obviously was one of the prolific writers on Sopranos, and you could see a lot. And Sopranos, another one of the best shows of all time, like bar none.
Undeniably. Undeniably.
You could see a similar arc at the end when Sopranos was ending. It was all about what's going to happen to Tony, and everyone was like, Tony's going to fucking get it, and it's about like how everything's falling apart and crumbling around him. And at the end of Sopranos, we don't quite know what happened. They never admitted it. They never know what happens. I think it's clear that he gets killed, but some people don't see it that way. And you saw a similar thing in Mad Men, where I remember I think I was even watching it with Greg at times where I'm like, they're going to nail him, for everything he's done, and they didn't. And that's what I loved about it was that like especially when it looked like, and I don't want to tune out if you want to watch Mad Men or whatever. I'll give you a few seconds. It looked like he was going to kill himself in the last episode.
It did.
And I love that they played with that. I'm like, he's going to fucking kill himself. That's how they're going to end this. And I'm like, I like it. But he has this
Especially
moment.
since he realizes that he's not the most unique, beautiful snowflake. Like there's a bunch of him in a room, and he's like, I don't have anything left to offer. And then I'm sorry, continue because you're telling it perfectly.
No, the scene with him in that circle, in the counseling circle with the guy that that talks to him and they start crying and stuff like that. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. But one of my favorite things about the last few episodes, the last 8 or 10 episodes, is it is steeped in symbolism. Like all of it. The books he reads, like everything about it is all symbolic. And I love that they did that. Mad Men is some of the most extraordinary television that has ever been. And it's never going to be touched. It never got bad. It never got mediocre. It was always fantastic.
It dipped a little. It dipped a little.
It
but
did dip a little.
every show that goes on that long is going to dip.
The worst episode of Mad Men is better than 95% of television.
I'll give you that.
Like, it is perfect. And they ended it at the perfect time. I didn't want them to end it, but they did end it at the perfect time. We saw an entire decade of their lives.
Awesome.
Awesome. And they touched on little things that made us feel better about some of the characters, but they didn't wrap everything up. I don't know if you saw, not David Chase, Michael Weiner, right? That's the
Yes.
He wrote, he had a list of things that he wanted to wrap up, and I don't know if you saw it. He like tweeted it out after the thing, like all of these things that he wanted to wrap up, and like how they only touched like 3 of them, and it was like what he's like, what happened with this, and like this character, and all these things, and they're like, you know, we're only gonna check these boxes, and that's it, and I love that, you know, Peggy wrapped up with the artist, which I thought was awesome. Like, so a little piece of feel good kind of stuff.
Well, so
there.
did Pete. Pete got like this amazing ending that he did not deserve.
With
And I was like,
Allison.
you know what? I'm gonna give it to him.
Love you, Allison.
God, Allison Brie.
Love you. We had a moment.
On Twitter.
So I think Mad Men was memorable. I remember that ending, and I love the way they ended, and I love the way they wrapped it into that Coke ad. Like the brilliant thing. Do you know how it ends or whatever? Like, you know the Coke, like buy a world. What is it?
I want to give the world a Coke.
Like, it's a famous ad.
It's one of the most famous.
And what they
commercials
end up doing is like they end up insinuating that he wrote it.
Yeah.
And like
He's
that.
sitting in a fucking like yoga spiritual circle in Big Sur after you thought he was gonna kill himself, and he's not. He's just meditating. And like you don't know what's going to happen next, and they just cut to that commercial.
Well, he smiles.
He
has
smiles
this,
for
like,
a
wry
second.
smile.
Because he realizes that like fuck you world, I still have a lot to offer, and I'm still this amazing force to be reckoned with. And then you see they cut to, it's just a juxtaposition. They don't ever tell you if he did it or not, but the most famous Coke commercial ever, because they just said that he got the company he works for got Coke. Like they rep Coke or whatever it is.
And then there's a bunch of symbolism again of like the girl with pigtails that leads off the Coke commercials, the same look of the girl who checked him into the Big Sur resort and all that stuff. So like there's a lot. I think it's more than
it's
nudge.
I love that kind of shit. It's the same reason why I used to love. I mean, it's a very different show, but Twilight Zone. Like Twilight Zone's one of my favorite shows because it's storytelling, but it's also super symbolic. And the characters mean something, and the scenery means something, and the things that they're doing. And so I loved just looking at certain things that they were doing in certain scenes, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like he's reading this weird, like, you know, it's like when you meet Cooper for the first time and you don't really know much about him, but he's always like, they talk about Ayn Rand or like all these things, and you realize like who he is based on what he's done and like who he is, like his worldview. It's going to be really, really
Cooper
hard.
Was Sterling?
Yeah, the old
like the old man.
The old man. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, for all the fucked up things that happened in the last season, like, they fucking killed Betty, which is like incredible.
That was awesome too. Like that was the thing. Like her character arc, which came to fruition like, not over that many episodes. She went from basically like finding out she was sick, and then all of that relationship. It wasn't even about Dawn anymore. It was about her and her daughter and that relationship and how
they hated each other.
They fucking hated each other. And then there's just like that moment
and the
where
letter she writes to her, I was like,
and you realize that her mom was not the most perfect person, but she was still her mom. And Betty has that moment where, even though she's dying, she's like, you know what? I need to be my own person. I need to do something good for myself. So she walks up the stairs to go to class, even though she knows she's not going to finish out the semester. Like it's so good.
Yeah, and I do like how it was a little earlier, but how
you hated her. You fucking hated her character.
Yeah,
like almost all of the entire time.
Well, that was. I don't want to talk about this too much longer because I know we have other things to talk about. But they play on the same feelings that Seinfeld plays on, which is that, and it's weird because it's true. The characters are bad. A lot of the characters are bad people. Like Don's a bad person.
He's unredeemable, yeah.
And yet it's the same thing to do with Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano's a fucking murderer. He's an asshole.
Mass murderer.
And you root for him. You hate Carmela. You fucking hate Carmela. She didn't do anything. But like anytime Carmela gives Tony like a hard time, it's like, shut the fuck up, Carmela.
Like my balls.
You know, like Tony pays the bills. You know,
right,
and it's the same thing with Don, where it's like Don's a philanderer and a fucking liar. He lies to everyone. He fucks everyone. You know, both both figuratively and actually. So it's just one of those things where like to the very bitter end, you're rooting for Dawn, even though Dawn doesn't deserve shit. Betty's the one that deserved a happy life, and she fucking doesn't get it.
Right.
But the one cool scene that is like when they're at camp and they fuck each other one last time, and I'm like, I love that. I love that they just have like a night. And
I like their final conversation on the phone.
Yeah, there's I mean, I don't want to tune back.
Mad
in.
Men's great. Mad Men had a great year and a great ending.
Beautiful.
Moving on.
Sorry.
Game of Thrones season 5.
Meh.
Nick didn't like it much.
I'm cooling off.
It was
cooling
weak
to
in the
Game of Thrones.
beginning, and then it had like one spike, and then it had a couple more.
I mean, I think it was a lot of build up for a lot of cool shit at the end. That I think it's a nice segue season. I think season 6 needs to kind of keep up.
No,
the pace of it.
problem I have with Game of Thrones is there's no ending in sight. It needs to end now. It's getting too long in the tooth. It's just like
It's passing the buck too.
it is, and that's not good. Like, I hate to tell you guys, but like, this thing's gonna. How many more seasons does this have to go on before it catches up to like the end of the books? The last one's not even
I
written.
thought they
yet,
already
right?
did it.
They need 2 more books. I think. I don't think. The show's gonna end long before the last book's done.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is I don't think that we have that much longer.
But how are they gonna possibly do that? Like, without
It'll just be different, and I don't even think I think that the changes that they've made so far have been good.
they need to end it. That's my thing. And it's got one more season left before I don't give a shit. I already don't care. I don't know when the new one comes out, and that's sad because I used to know the exact date.
It was
I think it's in
interesting.
April.
I don't know
I'm
what
not
the
quite
number.
sure.
I'm sure it's still very popular. I'm sure the number's very strong, but it was interesting watching people stop caring. At least in my circle, being like,
With
I'm
the
over it.
fervor, yeah.
Like.
Yeah. I'm still super into it. I mean, it definitely at least it has to have a couple seasons left. Like they're not that close to ending it yet.
Sure.
But I'm still in it, and I thought it was not the worst season, but it was one of the worst seasons.
Okay.
It's no Walking Dead.
Walking Dead,
Walking
season
Dead.
6.
Still going strong. Love it.
Good Walking
Love it.
Dead. Fear the Walking Dead was great too.
Yep,
Both good.
There's that.
Both good.
Better Call Saul.
Great.
Did you watch all of it?
All of it. Great. Did you watch it yet?
I just watched the first 2 episodes. I don't really like.
You don't like him until and that's a perfect. Who's the showrunner on that? It's Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Same guys. The same thing that did Breaking Bad. It's gonna kill me.
Gillian.
Vince Gillian. That's a perfect Breaking Bad-esque show. Where if you watch the first season of Breaking Bad, it's boring. He doesn't start cooking meth till like way into it. It's just about his cancer and this fucking horrible dude that like no one gives a shit about because no one should give a shit about him because he hasn't done anything with his life. He's a fucking blank slate, like useless kind of loser. And then wait, he decides to cook meth. That's crazy. That's kind of Better Call Saul. You get to a point where you're like, the story kind of is just about a loser, and then it fucking just goes downhill fast. And you're like, this is fascinating. Let's watch this guy eventually get into the worst trouble of his life.
It's so funny you say that because like I know we've talked about this before. Like I don't think Breaking Bad's a very good show. I mean that was always my opinion of it. I know people love it. I finished the whole thing.
Okay.
It was one of those things where, and I don't want to shit on it because I know people love it. I know I'm in a small minority of people that didn't like the show. I'm just like this isn't good, like that good. And actually I loved the first season the most.
Really?
Because I was like, this is fucking weird. Like. The chemistry teacher is like got his old student, and they're gonna cook meth together, and and then I was just like, I don't. The problem I had with it was, and we don't have to. We've talked about it, but I want to like someone. I need to like someone, and the person I liked was the kid. What was
Walt
Jesse.
Jr.
Jesse,
yeah.
And Jesse just gets
Aaron Paul.
shit on over and over by Walt, and I just want to be like, why are you treating him like what is the point of treating this guy like this? Like, why are you doing this to him? And I never understood. Like, it made it hard for me to watch it.
Yeah, I mean,
Be perfectly honest with you, like I didn't like the way they like. I know it's a weird kind of hang up, but I'm like, I like Jesse, and he's the more redeemable character.
Yeah.
So why is he getting shit upon like constantly?
But unlike Mad Men, where I felt like you were gonna get some sort of happy closure with that, I feel like Breaking Bad was from the get go. You're like, this is gonna end.
Oh, you knew it was gonna end
fucking
terribly.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they did a great job of setting it. I'm with you on that one too, where I need to, because there is that part of us that identifies with these characters, right? There's that part, even though this guy is having people killed and he cooks fucking meth, and he's by virtue of that killing everyone that probably comes in contact with the drug that he's making. There's some part of him that that you see yourself in, right? Where you're like, maybe that's what it takes to get to the top, or I don't know, he's working really hard, he deserves it. But yeah, with Don Draper, I think any guy could look at him and be like, there's something in there that I see in myself, or at least want to see in myself. But with Walter White, you're just like, this motherfucker needs to die. He's got to die. In order for me to be happy, he's got to die. I think that's just a masterful show.
Yeah, it's true.
Next.
The final rounds of shows are the superheroes. The last thing we got. We got
Okay.
Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and is there another one that's the Flash and Arrow together? Legends of
Legends of
some
Tomorrow.
sort?
It's not out
hasn't
yet.
happened
yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't
Agents
worry
of
about it.
S.H.I.E.L.D..
Agents of
There's
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents
is
of
on
S.H.I.E.L.D.
there. Yeah,
and Agent Carter or whatever, but I don't.
Didn't watch Agent Carter. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got better. So I watched the last few episodes of that. I was okay with it. I probably won't watch that show again. Daredevil was cool.
Yeah,
Did you see
Daredevil
them?
was cool. I liked Daredevil. Ended flat, but I thought it was a good ride
Ended
up until
flat.
that point. Yeah.
Flash, love. Arrow.
I mean, like
Flash is fucking awesome.
we're just kind of shotgunning these out here. Flash is the best superhero show on TV, and 2015 was the end of season 1, and it was, I think, the defining moment of like, this is what it's supposed to be.
Now, I will disagree with you
You're gonna say Jessica Jones?
because Jessica Jones, I think, is how they should handle all Marvel properties on TV going forward.
Sure, but I'm saying, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying for Flash, I think comic book wise, like we're gonna have all these goofy ass
Awesome
villains
show.
and stuff.
Absolutely. Like Flash, I told you I was kind of giving you the updates. You're like, Nick, I watched the show already. But I'm like, and then this happened. You're like, Nick,
Yeah,
I watched
yeah,
the show already. But the first season of Flash is bar none one of the
Superb.
best. It's the best season of, you're talking 23 episodes of comic book TV. It is awesome. It's
Great.
so good. The cast is fucking nails it. You love all of them.
It has a great through line.
Yeah, great
it
villain.
teases you the right way. There's a
Yeah.
lot of great nods, and like that's it. Now with season 2, it's already like they're kind of in like the freak of the week mentality, where it's like, all right, but can we just get to like what's the one
They
thing?
they had Monster of the Week mentality in the first season.
Sure, but I think we were always building when your whole thing was like, who is Harrison Wells?
Right,
What
right,
is
right.
happening? Like that was like
That was cool.
part of the cat and mouse game. Whereas now it's like, all right. Like,
Yeah,
can
I
we get
mean-
focus on the other guy? And like Jay's always like, oh, do this. And it's like, all right,
Like,
what
Jay,
can
fucking shut up. You
Yeah.
can't run anymore.
we- yeah.
What are
You're
your
old
thoughts on
enough.
Jessica Jones, though?
So Daredevil was a great first start, right? And in order to understand Jessica, you have to go back to Daredevil. Great, right? Really brutal, very violent, TV MA. Like it was very much an R-rated show, which I'm like, this is cool because Daredevil deserves that, right?
Yeah.
But to Greg's, Daredevil went on maybe 3 episodes a little too long, right? You got to the Wilson Fisk and you're like, this guy's a cool character. Then we saw way too much of him, and I think by the end of it, you're like, meh, it's good, but it fell flat. Jessica Jones has something, and I don't know what it is, but it is really, really, really dark and really intense and builds tension much like a Silence of the Lambs like level tension, where you're like, this person can't physically take this guy out. Like there's no way she can win, and it changes her fundamentally, and it's so well done. And Kristen Ritter, who I've never liked before, I don't think I've ever
Because she
watched.
always plays like, I'm the bitch.
Yeah,
I'm the bitchy
exactly.
friend. Yeah.
Fucking nails it. And I knew nothing about Jessica Jones. And if you don't either, do yourself a favor, go in blind. Just watch the show and get through the first couple episodes because your expectation of what it's supposed to be is S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Nowhere close to that. It is 180 degrees in the opposite direction. It is. I really don't want to say too much about it because I
Okay.
really, really enjoyed it. And as I was watching it, Finnegan texted me. He's like, yo, he starts every text with yo, you watching Jessica Jones? Because you should be. And I was like, dude, I'm fucking in there. And it was one of the first shows in a really long time where I had a text chat back and forth with my male friend.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this part was cool. He's like, oh, this is cool. Definitely watch it. And again, it's one of those shows like most that benefit from the fact that you can watch all of them in one run.
Yep.
Now, it gets a little long in the tooth like anything because they had to do 13 episodes. It could have gone 10 episodes and been stellar. A couple of them are, when they're like, oh, let's see what this side character X is doing today. You're like, I don't give a fuck about side character X. Get back to the main villains. But the shit that happens in it is fucked up, dark, and very, very, very honors what a real dark comic book can be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I thought was cool about it.
Cool.
Did you watch it yet?
No interest.
I didn't either.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, that's like what works against it is it's not in my universe.
think
It's a
anyone was
character I don't know.
interested.
Yeah.
I'm
I hear
not.
it's great, and it was literally, it came up on the same Netflix. Do I want to watch Jessica Jones or do I want to go into Master of None? And I was like, Master of None sounds more like what I'm into right now. And did that, and that was a weekend.
I think I really, if you have time this over the holiday break, if you're at the folks' house and you just want to sit down and watch something, or if you're at Steimer's family's house, sit down and watch a couple episodes of it because I think it'll if anything else, you'll be like, that is a cool way to tell a superhero story. That is a really fucking cool way of like treating the material. That's what I like most about it. It's very much like Dread, where you're like, this show shouldn't have gotten made, but it did, and I'm so fucking glad it did. And I hope they do another season of it. I really do.
Next.
Wait, no. Sorry. We're not going anywhere yet. I got to give two other show shout outs. I won't belabor because I know a lot of people don't
I didn't
like
mean
it.
next topic.
Shonda
I meant
Rhimes. Oh, okay.
next game or next show.
Downton Abbey's last season was fucking awesome. Just
Oh,
wanted
I
to
thought
throw
we
that
were
out
going to
there.
the next superhero show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Supergirl's fun, forgettable.
Oh, I thought you wanted to go move on to the next topic. Oh,
Arrow,
okay.
Arrow's Arrow.
Arrow is not even Arrow. Well, I don't know. Arrow's last season was so weak. Well, see, that's the weird thing in 2015. One ends, one begins. Season 3 of Arrow ended, and I was like, I don't even. It was like a chore to even. I skipped to the end on a few things.
It's because they
went and
forced
rewinded
that
stuff.
relationship. They shouldn't have fucking.
Well, now I'm
done
talking
that.
about. Now you're talking about season 4 going forward or whatever. And I watched one episode, and I haven't made a point to get back to them. They're still on my DVR. I'm going to, but like Flash, I'm like, oh yeah, fuck Flash.
The only reason
Let's watch
the only
Flash.
reason they fucking force you to watch it is because the last 3 episodes are having crossovers, and so it's all building to Legends of Tomorrow. And you're
Yeah,
like, oh, I really don't care about what's happening in Arrow, but I really care about what's happening on Flash. So fuck, I guess I'll watch Arrow.
Yeah.
Downton Abbey.
Yeah,
Are we
I
done
just
with comic shows?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to say I want to give a shout out to Downton Abbey because that's still one of the greatest shows on TV, like bar none. Number 2, The Man in the High Castle is excellent, and it's not for everyone, but it's an Amazon show, and you guys should watch it if you want. It's alternate history meets sci-fi, and it's like really, there's nothing like it. It's based on a Philip K. Dick book, and it's definitely slow, and it's definitely plotting, and it's definitely about characters, but it is a really fucking cool idea. And what it's basically about is the United States loses World War II, the Japanese take over the western half, the Nazis take over the eastern half, the Nazis and the Japanese do not like each other. There's like a middle zone called the neutral zone, that's like the Rocky Mountains, where like people like where Jewish people live and black people live and like all this kind of stuff, because they're obviously, the Third Reich would obviously kill them. The Japanese are like more accepting of them, but now they're trying to like kind of homogenize themselves. And it's about basically these film reels that they're trying to get to this man called the Man in the High Castle, who like you don't know who he is. And the
Do
film,
we find out in the end?
no,
Okay.
And the film reels show an alternate history where the United States wins, or where other things happen. Like, so there's like other branches, and they start playing them and looking at them and realize like, what the fuck's going on here? And the last episode of the show is fucking bonkers.
I don't say anything because I'm
Bonkers.
I'm sold.
How many
I wanna
episodes
watch
is it?
this.
I still wanna watch
It's 10 episodes.
I like the pilot.
Dude, the last episode is fucking bonkers, and I have no one to talk to about it.
I'll watch it.
It is so
you
awesome.
just sold me on it, so
Yeah.
I'll watch that next. That's one with Rufus Sewell, right? The guy who's he was in Dark City.
I don't know any of the actors' names. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
Nor have I ever heard
young-
of Dark City.
young people in it. But it's awesome. It's just it's like a fusion of alternate history and science fiction, and it's about like it's all these what ifs, but like you meet a lot of the Nazis, and it's weird. Like it's very unsettling. Like a lot of the Nazis are American.
yeah, because the trailer was super unsettling for it. That's the one where it's like it starts off like Americana, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a show about the the late 40s, early 50s, whatever. And it's like it's this guy, the actor that I just listed, and his kid, and the kid's going away, and he's like, all right, bye, Pop, Zig Heil, and he's like, Zig Heil, son, and you're like, what the fuck? And then it goes straight into like the whole like that era.
Nazi rule.
Dude, the
fucking
last
it's crazy.
episode. Oh, the last episode.
All right,
is
don't
so
spoil it. I'll go back and watch
It's
this.
bonkers. It's been spoiled. Bonkers.
It's so good. It turns the whole show on its head. I can't wait for someone to see it.
I thought you were a big Scandal fan. Am I crazy?
No, I don't. I wanna
No,
watch it.
you like.
What?
Damages? No.
What's the dumb show you? No,
The
Good Wife.
Good Wife.
The Good Wife.
Oh, The Good Wife's fantastic. But I mean, we've talked a great deal about that as well. Still fantastic. 7 seasons and still fantastic show. I watch a lot.
Nashville's great too.
Digimon Adventure
Nashville,
Try.
great.
Watch it if you haven't.
Is Nashville still great?
Yeah, it's only getting better. Is there anything else on your?
That's all we got for TV.
All right.